It's one thing to jump on the tracks when you are unaware of the danger, because then you're moving out of not being knowledgeable how dangerous the tracks are. But when someone does it with the knowledge of the danger of not only being struck by the train, but the moving parts of the track and the third rail, which is extremely dangerous to touch or stand on, it's an indication of their true level of being a hero. And so we're happy to acknowledge today Ralph Johnson, who is our hero of the month for the month of January. The incident took place on Labor Day 2015 during the Western Day Parade. Ralph arrived at his station a half hour early for his shift. He was doing overtime at the time. He noticed a woman was on the track, and he jumped in the middle of the tracks to save her. And in the process, he stopped an oncoming train. The motorman was able to identify that he was on the tracks, saw his signal, and stopped the train 25 feet from where Ralph was standing. And due to that, he saved the life of this passenger who was on the track area. With the help of New York City police officers, he was able to assist the woman who was in distress and move her to a safe area. He saved her life. When you're struck by an oncoming train, it is very difficult, and not often does someone survive after being struck by a train. And so his action clearly allowed the woman to go on with her life, and he showed how everyday men and women of the MTA play a vital role of not only moving passengers, but ensuring that passengers reach their destination in a safe place. We cannot thank Ralph enough, and so we want to give him this proclamation. Whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Ralph Johnson, an MTA station agent who jumped in the middle of the tracks at the Franklin Avenue station during the busy West Indian Day Parade in Crown Heights on Labor Day. He waved down the train to save a woman who fell from the train platform. I applaud him for the audacity and outstanding courage to put his life on the line to stop a moving train to save someone else's life. He put himself in harm's way to save a life. I commend Ralph for going above and beyond his duties on that day in his dedication to service with the MTA, serving in exemplary of bravery and heroism. And I thank him for all that he has done for make us one of Brooklyn. Ralph Johnson, I sign my hand and signature. Eric Adams, Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. Borough President. I want to thank Derick Echevarria, the union folks for being here, John Gator for being here. I wasn't expecting all of this. I mean, okay, I got electrical transit with the proclamation from Brooklyn. I just want to say this for all my people in Brooklyn. I started out on 24 Jefferson Avenue between Bedford and Nostrand Avenues. I went to PS3, 50 Jefferson Avenue. Lived on Atlantic Avenue, Nostrand, lived on Sterling and Utica, so I'm very well versed in Brooklyn. Went to Westinghouse, as a matter of fact. This is something this is an honor. I can't believe it. I mean, okay, basically what happened that day, how it all came about, I did get there about a half hour early. My thing was to go upstairs, get some jerk chicken, get some refreshments, take a look at some of the women on the parade route, and be to work early enough so I could make an assessment of the situation. When I was halfway up the staircase, I heard all this yelling and screaming. So when I turned around and ran back down, when I got to the basic stairs, a guy with a thick Jamaican accent, it sounded like he said, "There's a baby on the tracks." A baby, it sounded like that. It turns out it's a lady. So as I run down, when I looked on the tracks, what I saw looked like what appeared to be a baby's blanket. She had on a white skirt with red, gold, and green dots on it. So I immediately jumped down to the track. When I was leaning over to pick her up, I heard the train coming around the corner. I could hear the wheels screeching, making a turn. So at that point, I knew two things. He's coming around the corner between 10 and 15 miles an hour. He's in the right-hand side of the cab, so as the train is making a turn, he's going to see me as he comes around the turn. So I basically stood in the middle of the track bed, in that little spot in the middle of the track bed, basically doing jumping jacks to get this guy to stop. He saw me, was able to stop the train because it wasn't coming in so fast. At that point, when he stopped the train, I was able to go lean down, pick the woman up, so I had to hoist her twice. Once I got her here, I grabbed her and I could see she had pulse. She was breathing, but she was still unconscious. And when I looked to my right, I saw two police officers who were working a special unit that day. They were running towards me. One of them jumped down the track. We wrapped her legs up in the skirt. We were able to hoist her up. And then there were two other police officers that joined in. They pulled her up. When we got her up on the platform, she was still unconscious. I'm basically standing in front of her like I'm standing in front of you. One police officer was to my left, another was to my right. She opened up her eyes for about 3 seconds. She fell out again. We caught her, put her in the middle of the platform. I put the bag that I'm carrying back there underneath her head. Put a cold compress on her, somebody had water. We did that, put that on her forehead. About 5 minutes later, she regained consciousness. And the guy is sitting down right next to her, so I'm looking at her to hear her first words. Her first words are, "You're my hero." So after that, it was transit protocol. Is get the information, get her name, address, phone number, age, birthday, because we know we have to write a report about what happened. And I got all that information, and just like I said, her first words were, "You're my hero." As they were taking her out away from us to the ambulance on the gurney, the last words were, "You're my hero."
New Year's Eve, I came through 96th Street, and Ralph Johnson was there. I said, "You Ralph Johnson that saved lives?" He said, "Yeah, I'm Ralph Johnson that saved lives." But in all seriousness, I've known him for a number of years. A guy of great character, but most of all, just a good person. And if it was your family there, you would want this guy to be there. But also, standing here with management when something good happens, sometimes rules have to be broken to save lives.